Hi everybody, this is Steve. As mentioned before in the email I sent to you, I'm your instructor for the HE 104 Addictions and Dependencies course for the summer, Queensboro. Very pleased to be working with you this summer. I'm very excited that we got the go ahead to open this class and run it. It's not a difficult class, but it will be a little intense, being that you have about half the time to accomplish what a regular semester would be in. This course is primarily directed to expand your thinking, expand your thoughts, and give you a little more insight and knowledge about some of the drugs that are out in society and issues related to them, including legal issues, social issues. But primarily, I want to talk more about the medical issues that we're dealing with. I've been in emergency medical service for over 30 years. I've been a paramedic for 30 years. I've been a paramedic instructor for 25 years. I've been a physician assistant for almost 20 years. So I've seen a lot of issues with recreational drugs and how they affect the human body, some of the social aspects involved with it, and so on. And we'll get to all that during the semester. Right now, I wanted to share this video and kind of go over how to navigate your Blackboard site so we can kind of get through this course, because it is completely asynchronous. Unfortunately, not in front of you in a classroom, at least not yet. Hopefully, we'll get back to that that mode of teaching soon. But in any event, I want to go over and share this application screen and show you how to go about working through this course to give you the most success possible. So if you just bear with me for one moment, we'll get this on board. Okay, so the first thing you're seeing here is your Blackboard menu, summer term addictions and dependencies. So you go up to the menu here. This is my contact information. That handsome devil you see right there is me. And the best way to contact me is through email, swhitlock@qcc.cuny.edu. I do try to make it a point to monitor my email at least once a day. If I don't get back to you right away, please don't despair. I may have gotten caught up in my other job. I do work another full-time job as a physician assistant, but I will generally get back to you as soon as I can. Right here is a copy of your course outline, your syllabus, and we'll go over that real quick, and you can just click that link here, but I'm going to open it up over on this application screen. Just make sure that's being shown here. There we go. Okay, great. So as you guys know, this is a 3-credit class. Let's talk a little bit about what's involved in it. There is a textbook involved. It's called Drugs Across the Spectrum by Goldberg, 8th edition. It is very, very highly recommended that you get that textbook. You can even download it on an online format electronically. And you really need to do that sooner than later. I will give you a lot of learning material on your own, but it's still a requirement for this course. So the question that everybody probably wants to know is, how is your ultimate grade evaluated in this course? Well, there's a few criteria by which you're going to be graded. There's going to be homework assignments due each and every week, and your homework assignment accounts for about 20% of your overall grade. Quizzes at the end of each segment, those account for about 10% of your grade. The big bulk of your grade is dependent upon discussion questions and how you respond to those discussion questions, and your success with those discussion questions. And at the end, there's a final examination, 50 to 100 questions. I haven't really decided yet. Probably go along with 50 questions, just to kind of recap all the trite details that we went over. So you see, the bulk of your grade is based on discussion questions, because this is really not a course that's designed for me to just throw factual information out at you and have you spit it back at me and me to evaluate how well you can memorize facts. I mean, all the trivial facts, you know, the indications, the effects, the sources of all drugs, where cocaine came from, What are the signs and symptoms of heroin overdose? I mean, that can easily be looked up on any iPhone at this point in time. My goal is to really kind of provoke different modes of thinking, critical thinking, get you to see some of the other issues with substance abuse, some of the legal issues, of course the medical issues, the physiologic issues, the sociologic issues, and kind of expand your way of thinking to get you to not only think about what we're talking about, but think about how to ask more questions in the field. Education is not teaching you how to memorize facts. It's teaching you, or at least guiding you, I like to say that more, as to how to think about these facts. So let's move down a little bit. So this is your whole schedule of classes from today on to the end of the course, which ends about mid-July. It's all there for you to see. The first week, starting today, we'll be covering chapters 1 and 3. You'll have homework assignments due, and you'll see it all kind of scroll down the line there. I'll show you in a moment on the course menu how the homeworks work, the quizzes work, the discussion questions work. And these are your learning objectives over here that you can read for yourself. Our course is offered asynchronously and online. It's really self-guided. So unfortunately, I can't be there in front of you to facilitate roundtable discussions as I would like to. So that's why the discussion questions are pretty important. And so I really encourage you to read the assigned chapters ahead of time, as shown on your syllabus. There's also other materials provided for you, certain videos with different topics and point of views, journal articles, newspaper articles, things of that sort. Let's talk a little bit about the homework. The homework assignments consist of assigned reading material and a online quiz type format assignment with multiple choice questions. And the material on the homework covers material that has yet to be covered. So for example, as we start next week's lesson will include topics on physiology and pharmacology, how drugs physically affect the body, and topics dealing with alcoholism and alcohol-related disorders. So the homework assignment that you are assigned today will cover that. So it requires you to read ahead of the time and to prepare. But these are homework assignments. So these are meant to help you learn the material. So what you have is 2 chances to take this assignment. It's anywhere between a 10 to 15 to 20 question quiz. Do the best you can. When you finish the quiz, you'll have a chance to review your answers. And at the end of each question, it will give you a little short description of the answer, a little lesson, a little video, some textbook notes, something to help bring some insight into the question as to what it's all about. And then you get a second chance to do that homework assignment. And hopefully in the second chance, you'll have a much higher grade than the first chance. And the higher of the 2 efforts will be factored into your overall average. So I think that's kind of fair. And you have no time limit as to which to do the homework, except it has to be ultimately submitted by 9 o'clock, the next due date, which is outlined on your syllabus. Each week, a couple of class presentations. There'll be videos, notes, little pre-recorded presentation by myself just to go over some of the more pertinent information of the material. They'll be posted in your learning folders, and you can view them anytime at your leisure. As I said before, the discussion questions is really the meat and potato of this course. So we have a discussion board. I'll show you in a moment. You can look at the questions, respond to them. It really requires a little bit of critical thinking in the response. Answers should be well thought out. They should be well versed. Generally, I would like responses to be about 200 to 250 words in length. don't get so caught up in counting the words, however. Make the words count. Okay, give me good, solid reasons why you're answering this question. This is your rating rubric for the discussion questions. Each discussion question gets a value of anywhere from 0 to 4 points. 4 points is the highest you can get. As you can see there, a response that's provocative, goes beyond simply answering the prompt, stimulates further thought, asks further questions, has very few grammatical errors, and most importantly, is properly cited. That will get the maximum grade. And a minimal response where you just give me a rambling answer. Usually these are things that are done at the last minute that don't really answer the question and just are a couple of sentences in length. That gets the minimum grade, 1. Well, the minimum grade is actually a 0. That's if no response is submitted at all. Unfortunately, I had some students in the spring class that really didn't understand the necessity of answering these discussion questions, and multiple zeros have piled up on their academic average, and unfortunately they're going to be quite disappointed when they get their grade. So don't let that be you. And then ultimately, when I look and grade the discussion questions, if there's multiple grammatical errors, points will be taken off. I mean, God knows I'm not the best speller in the world. God knows I don't have the best grammar structure in the world. But guys, you live in a day where it's really kind of easy. If back when I was in college, if I wanted to put together a well thought out paper, I had a huge dictionary on one side, a huge thesaurus on the other side, a small grammar book in front of me. I had to go to all these different sources to put together a well-versed response. You can do it with press of a button by just going to an online grammar checker. Any word processor software basically has that for you. So if your response is really in disarray and it's misspellings and poor structure, that tells me that it was a poor effort, is that you really kind of did it at the last minute. You didn't really put much effort into it. And the 2 things that you need to be successful in this course are effort and integrity. We'll talk about integrity in a few moments. So let's get back to that. We have an open discussion forum as well, which I would really encourage you to take part in, but I'll get back to that as well. After each topic is covered, there's going to be 2 quizzes opened up on each chapter, 1 for each chapter. The quizzes are about 20 to 25 questions in length. The quizzes cover material that has been opened up and reviewed. The quizzes will not be on any non-reviewed material, non-covered material. And the quizzes, because they do measure knowledge recall, will be timed, anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes, depending on the length of the quiz. And then, as I said before, at the end of the course, you'll have a final examination. I'll probably bump it down to 50 questions, unless anybody really wants to take a 100-question exam, then we can always accommodate you. And again, that's a minimal amount of the grade, just more of a formality than anything else. What I would like to ask you to do is please, please, please go over on the Queensborough website and review. You can click the link there if you'd like to. College policy on academic integrity. College, CUNY, probably more so than a lot of other colleges, and myself as well, we take academic integrity very seriously. Now, of course, I know that when you're taking quizzes at home, you're going to be able to look up the answers, and I would hope you wouldn't. I would hope you do use the honor system and try to think about what you're trying to accomplish here, but I get it. I would hope you wouldn't, but that's why the quiz are timed, to give you a little bit of pressure to kind of hopefully force your hand at trying to learn some of the material. But we're talking more in this course, more with plagiarism, cutting and pasting, copying works. There's very little tolerance I personally, as an instructor, have very little tolerance for academic dishonesty. Unfortunately, in the EMT course that I teach at Queensborough, it's a 9.5 college credit course. Maybe we'll talk about it sometime in the future if anybody might be interested. But our standards are high, and we unfortunately lost 5 students for breaching academic integrity. And they're facing some very, very stiff penalties. Don't get me wrong. I am not looking for PhD level work. I'm not looking for master's level work. I know that sometimes things can, there's only so many different ways you can word something or word a thought that you're putting on paper, and it may be similar to something that was published. I get it. But if something is obviously cut and pasted or obviously plagiarized, I have very easy means of checking for that. And if it's really, really obvious, then I'm going to have to make that report to the Dean of Academic Integrity and have that followed up on. So please do the work yourself. You can always reach out to me for help. I'm going to try to give you as many resources as I can. As far if writing intensive courses are not your strong suit, and for me they weren't either, you have resources in the library that can help you out. Reach out to them. Do what needs to be done. Sorry, so no more preaching for now. Let's go back to the main board and navigate your Blackboard site. So the course information, course outline, forget about course documents. Let me put this in a format that you can actually see. I want you to look down here for a moment. You see my point? All right. So go to where it says weekly lessons. So each week you'll get a new weekly lesson folder. You can actually ignore this. This is old stuff. But look at week 1, for example. Week 1 will have your 2 lessons, usually by chapter. So lesson 1 will be drugs in perspective. That's chapter 1 in your textbook. And if you'd see in here, we have a little presentation that was done by me, which I'd ask you to review. The PowerPoint from the textbook itself, some article about Oregon and drug laws, some other interesting videos and articles that I tend to post in these folders that I think is pertinent to the lesson at hand. So I would definitely ask you to take advantage of that. Right? It's there for your viewing. And lesson 2 is very similar. The presentation got a little botched up there. I'll try to redo it. But those are your PowerPoint chapters. This is a video about the American drug war, the war on drugs, history of drug legislation in New York, United States. These are actually very interesting topics. Goes a little beyond what you might have learned in high school. So stay on top of that. This is what is all due for the next session. All right, so I'm going back, and that's your week 1 folder. And then as of Monday is generally all new material will be presented on the following Monday of each week. On the Monday of each week, 9 o'clock. Next Monday is a holiday, obviously, so all new material will be presented Tuesday. Generally, all required material, such as homeworks, quizzes, and assigned discussion questions, will be due the following Monday at 9 o'clock a.m. All assignments are required to be submitted on time. And that's a part of your evaluation in this course is effort, how well you can get that stuff in on time and get a grade for it. Late assignments generally won't be accepted. Okay, so those are your weekly lessons. Let's go about talking about your homework. Okay, so each week you're going to have some homework assignments. You go to that homework folder, you click the folder, and again, you have 2 assignments based on the material that's yet to be reviewed. Okay, so I know it's a little intense, but it's not that bad. So this is your pharmacology homework, for example. Click it on. And it takes a minute to load, I guess. Oh, hey, what just happened there? Okay, well, I have to double check that. But your pharmacology homework, okay, it presents itself like a quiz. So you begin the quiz. I'm actually not going to give you the, well, yeah, I could do that, I guess. So it's a multiple choice quiz. And so all the following reasons alcohol is not acknowledged as a drug except, and you pick the right answer. You got to be careful when you're picking the right answer. Make sure you're picking the circle that aligns with the proper answer. All right, so I'm going to close that out. And then when you're finished with that, you can submit it, and it will give you your results, and you'll have one more chance to do it. So I think that's kind of fair. Trying to close out that window, and it's not working. Well, whatever. Could be because I'm sharing this application screen. All right. Let's scroll down a little more. So the weekly homework, weekly quiz, pretty much is the same. Quiz 1, drugs in perspective. Quiz 2, legal issues. All right, so all that material that this quiz is on is covered in that first folder that we just showed you, with the videos and the PowerPoints. But again, I really recommend that you get the book and read the book as well. You don't have to memorize every single sentence in the book, but it will give you a general idea of everything we're talking about. Now let's just go to the discussion board. Okay, like I said, this is the most important part of your course. So there are multiple discussion questions. First one is greetings. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. What is your name? Where are you from? I would like to know a little bit about you guys. Anything you want to add would be great. Why are you taking this course? What is it about this material that interests you? What are you studying at Queensborough? What do you hope to be? You know, don't be shy. We're all friends here. This is the open forum that we talked about. So if you have any questions that you'd like to share with the class, of course, if there's something more private, then email me. But if it's something that can contribute to the class, I would appreciate that. You just click the open forum, and then you can create your own thread. These are the discussion questions at hand that you will be graded on. All right, so discussion question 1, is substance abuse a disease or a personal choice as a result of a moral failure? Please justify your answer and provide sources to back up your argument. So you would click that, and you would hit create thread, or you don't even have to create your own thread. You could just subscribe to the forum itself. You hear my kids being wild in the background. And just respond, and then you just respond to that question. Hey, baby, blah, 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 blah. And then you submit it. After you've checked it, please remember to include your citations. And now you're going to have 4 of them due for next session. All right. And if there's ever an issue where you want to meet up with me, where you want to talk about something, we can always go into what's called the virtual classroom. We could talk about that later. This tab has all the textbook PowerPoint slides, if you want to look at them. But the PowerPoints are just like, I'm not going to get into all that, but the PowerPoints are just notes. They're just text. All right? You need context behind the notes. And that's basically it. Again, reach out to me, please, with any questions you have regarding this course, about how to navigate Blackboard, how to properly answer the questions. I want to help you through it. I want you guys to get the best grade you can get. I hope maybe some of you will consider taking EMT class in the fall. We'll talk about that later. In any event, we look forward to working with you, and good luck with everything. Take care.